Hello and welcome to High Caliber TV, your source for figure and model updates every Wednesday and Friday. Today on Figure Friday I'm going to be showing off something really special. It's the Australian SAS in Vietnam by Bravo 6. Now, I know what you're thinking, James, that's crazy. Australian SAS in Vietnam, that's almost as esoteric as someone doing Canadian peacekeepers in Vietnam, which there were, but these are really cool. There's 5 figures in total. Comes in 3 different kits. The details that make them really special are the weapons, but also just the fact that they're Australians in Vietnam. That's nuts. So the first of the 3 kits that I want to show you are the 2 troopers getting dolled up for a deep jungle patrol. It's called Jungle Makeup, and there's one guy holding the other trooper's face while he puts the camo paint on him. And this is something that both the SAS and the LRRP would have to do like every morning or every evening before they go out on a patrol. But you almost never see it replicated in this scale, especially not in this nationality. So that's what makes these guys really cool. The second kit that I want to show you is a pair of troopers getting saddled up. They're putting on their kit. The fella on the ground's obviously tying up his boots. Bravo 6 is really great because they actually give you his pack as a separate piece with the straps hanging down. They look like they've got a lot of weight. So that's an excellent part. It means that you don't have to provide your own, or you don't have to just skip out on that detail entirely. The weapons are also still included, even though neither of them are interacting with their weapons, so you don't need to worry about providing your own. The fella putting on the ammo belts is really cool though. I really like how he's got, because they all look just scruffy. The hairstyles that the SAS were allowed to have is a lot more relaxed, it still is, than the regular forces. So, yeah. And the final is a single figure. He's easily my favorite because of his character. It's called Best Wishes, and he's holding his M60 with one hand and giving the bird to someone with the other. And the best thing about this figure is that when you create a vignette or a diorama with these 5, because they can all interact together really easily, you can have him, well, the way I'm going to have him when I finally get around to doing these is he'll be giving someone the finger off the base or away from the rest of the figures, so it'll suggest that there's something else happening that's outside of the story, which grounds them in a larger reality, even though the story that you're telling is really compact with just the 5 figures. Now, I've always found that that's a really helpful way of creating interest, because it makes the viewer wonder what else is going on. Is his CO, you know, coming in with new orders or whatever? Yeah, so the really cool details I want to talk about mainly are the weapons. The weapons are all jungle modified in some way, which is the same as with the SEALs or the LRRP. They all have the best, most ideal weapons for the jungle. So this figure, as I said, he's got an M60. It's got a foregrip on it, wooden foregrip, or it's also got the front sight post shorn off, just cleared away so that it doesn't get caught in the brush or coming through small entrances, things like that, so that he can, because he's going to be firing from the hip, that's why he's got the foregrip on the end of the barrel. It's also got most of the furniture removed on the front of the gun. Like when you usually see an M60, it's got the hand grip in the front of the forward receiver and the cooling jacket over top of the barrel. This guy's M60 is completely stripped of all that. It's just like a metal tube with the gas system underneath it. And these figures, the jungle makeup guys. One of them, the guy who's carrying his weapon, well, he's carrying both of their weapons, but the one weapon that I really like that he's got is a self-loading rifle. It's a really sort of characteristic British Commonwealth combat rifle for the 60s and 70s, but his has a foregrip like the M60 did, so it's made for shooting from the hip or just sort of standing up and laying down a lot of fire really quickly, as they would do when they're trying to break contact with communist forces. All these weapons are intended to have little bands of camouflage tape on them to disrupt their outline in the jungle, and they've also got little packs taped onto the stock. Now these are either first aid packs, they could be ration packs, but they're most likely spare magazines that have been covered over with some sort of mesh so that they don't get wet. The saddle up figures have something really cool. This is my favorite weapon out of all of them. It's an M14 with a shortened barrel and a foregrip on it. That's so cool. That's so 1960s. They portray it as being coated in camouflage tape. It's also got the pack I mentioned on the stock. The fella putting on the belts also has a M16 with an underbarrel 40mm grenade launcher, which I discussed earlier in a different video, so I'm not going to go over that again, but it is very cool. Mainly because of the fact that the barrel is like, this was before the M203 integrated weapon system, so they were just sort of figuring things out at that point, and the barrel is just like a tube. The jacket is just a big tube on the weapon. It doesn't have any grip for your fingers, and it's just got the holes on the top of the barrel for the heat to vent out of, which is really cool. The really cool detail out of all of these, though, and I want to thank Bravo 6 for doing this, because I don't think I've actually ever seen this done in ever, is that most of the figures have somewhere on them, like around the back of their backpack or across them in the traditional style, they're all carrying they share the load of the M60 ammunition belts, because the M60 would be the primary weapon for the entire patrol, and all the belts are covered in, it looks like a garbage bag, but it's a specifically designed belt that they could feed the ammunition through. It keeps them dry, and it makes sure that there's no glare off the brass. So this is a really cool detail for forces fighting in the jungle, because they would have to use something like that to keep their powder dry. So for all these figures and many more, be sure to check us out at highcaliberminiatures.com. I'm going to put the link in the description below. Follow us on Facebook, Pinterest, and Twitter for daily updates, new stock, old stock that I'm just showing off that we've got. And our competition is still going on. The draw, you can still get in on that if you make a purchase of $60 or more at our online shop any time between now and the end of June, I believe. I've got the full details up on the About Us section of the website, so you can check it out there. It's a draw for 3 Evolution miniatures, US Marines in the Pacific, Second World War. They're really cool. If I wasn't giving them away, I'd be building them myself. So thanks very much for watching, and I will see you next time.